What is up, guys? It's Friday again, so that means that we are going to do dips. So I am on a journey to do dips again after having had sternum pain for years on end. So my goal is to do dips again, 5 sets of 12 repetitions. I already got to 5 sets of 5 repetitions, but then my shoulder got hurt and I couldn't continue doing dips. Although I'm recovering from a shoulder injury, I still think that this video will apply for people with sternum pain, and for the reason that I'm going to explain right now. So in today's video, I want to cover 2 things. The first one is thoracic spine mobility, and the second one is dip technique. So let's dive into the first one. So last time I talked about this book, Rebuilding Milo, from the guy behind Squat University. I only read the chapter about shoulder pain twice, and I already got a great understanding about why my shoulder is aching and why it's not. So there are 2 things that I found in this book. So the first one is not enough strength externally rotating my shoulder. This is the bad shoulder, by the way. And the second thing is thoracic mobility. So in this book, Dr. Aaron talks about how having good thoracic extension and thoracic mobility helps in having healthy shoulders, because having adequate thoracic mobility helps with the movement of the scapula. And as you know, I made a video about shoulder anatomy, and there I talked about, like, you can move your arm. This is your shoulder muscles working, but once you move your arm up here, it hits a bone, so your arm can't move any higher. Now, what happens here is that your scapula moves with the arm so that you can extend your arm even more overhead. For that, the scapula has to glide over the thoracic spine, and by doing so, it can move up. Now, if you don't have adequate thoracic spine mobility, your shoulder blade won't be able to move as good as it should be, thus restricting movement, thus maybe giving you some shoulder issues. Now, as you may recall from other videos on costochondritis and sternum pain, if your thoracic spine isn't mobile enough, something else will have to give, and that something else is typically your sternum. How can we go about improving our thoracic mobility? The first thing is look at what causes your thoracic spine to stiffen up. The first thing is definitely that stupid cell phone. I know it's awesome, you can connect with a lot of people, you can do great stuff with it, but it limits your posture. You're going to be hunched over like this, and that creates poor thoracic spine mobility. Also, the use of laptops. As I talked before, your screen and your keyboard is too close to each other, so you're always going to get hunched over. That is something we want to avoid. We want to break up that pattern. I have a lot of videos about that. Now, that being said, another thing what you can do is do some stretches. Make sure that your thoracic spine opens up. And the problem that I had previously was that if I did a thoracic spine mobility stretch, I only did it like for 10 seconds, do a quick this, boom, my thoracic spine feels a little bit loose again, and I'm moving. But that is not the approach you should take. You should at least get 3 to 4 sets of 30 seconds into a stretch in order to get the real benefits out of it. So I'm going to show you some stretches now so you can see which ones that I'm using now. Okay, so if you have the book Rebuilding Milo, you can find everything at page 266 and further. So a good stretch that he talks about is this one, where you're going on your knees, your hands and knees, and then you stick your one arm underneath and you reach as far as you can. And then you breathe into your thoracic spine. And for those of you who do not know, your thoracic spine is this area between my thumb and my index finger. Boom. You can take a regular rubber band as well. I just like this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let the rubber bands stretch my thoracic spine. And from here we just don't want to pull through, but we really want to try and relax our thoracic spine as much as possible by really breathing into it. And you'll find with every breath in, you're going to tighten up your thoracic spine just slightly, and by every breath you take out, you're going to feel that you're going to go deeper into the stretch. So that one I like very much. Another one is with the peanut. So I always talk about how you can use a peanut to improve your thoracic spine mobility. What I typically did before was, yes, this is a big peanut. You don't need a big one like this, but that's the hardest one that I have around. So what I typically did before was up, and we're good. Now, that is not really the way to do this. You put the peanut on the floor. You're going to find the lowest part of your thoracic spine that's hurting. And you're going to grab your shoulders like this. You grab your arms like this. You go up. You go down. And you go up. And you do this for about 30 seconds. And then you move on to the next segment. You open her up. Be careful for your sternum. Just gently let your body relax onto the peanut. Once you're done, you go down a little bit more, till you had everything, and then you repeat for like 3 sets. And that way you really are going to do a lot more work and you're going to get a lot more benefit out of it in the long term. So that was the part on thoracic spine mobility. Another thing was dips and the movement of dips. So I recently saw a video of Omar Isa where he talks about shoulder pain and doing dips. So basically what was explained in the video is that you should keep your shoulders retracted, the complete movement here. And what I was realizing when I evaluated my technique was I had the intention of retracting my shoulder blades, but because this shoulder is a lot more mobile than the other one, I can't really keep the tension throughout the movement. And at one point, the shoulder comes loose and gets pinched down into the dip. So I really want to keep the shoulder as much retracted as possible so that I can keep it safe the whole way around. Because as was said in the video of Omar Isov, there are a lot of things happening and crossing the shoulder. So if you really push into that, you're going to smash a lot of things. And so we want to keep as much room here so that the muscles can work. And that's why we need enough external rotation, enough scapular retraction, strength to keep our scapula in that position while we dip. And then we want to build up that strength, and that way we're going to keep our shoulders healthy. Now, the new technique is also going to keep yourself a little bit upright, and that's okay. You're going to emphasize more on the triceps, but the triceps need love too, so that's pretty cool. And if we go up gradually, we're still going to protect our sternum. So let's try this new technique. I know I really have to focus here more on this shoulder than on the other one, so it might feel uneven for me. So retract. Everything feels nice, no pain. It's a lot more difficult. I really need to keep this shoulder back. It really wants to come up forward, and I really feel and I see it in the mirror rounding forward. So that is going to be a work point. For that, we're going to take the exercise slow and steady, because the slower we go, the more control we have, and that is also going to prevent more injuries. If we go slow, we try to take control about everything, and then we can go a little bit faster, do a little bit more reps, go to fatigue and all of that stuff. But we have to build a strong foundation before we can move on. So thank you so much for watching, guys. This was a big video, but I hope you learned something. I learned a ton, so that's why I want to give as much information back to you guys so you can learn from my journey. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And leave a comment, even if it's just to say hi. That helps the algorithm get more people to these videos so I can help more people. Alright, so enough of me talking. I guess I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace!